Fabbri, congratulations. Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, I mean, amazing time. So happy I was able to be there and spend a good few days with her, and everything went well. And it's just truly amazing when you get her in your hands, and what my wife went through. It's they're different. They got a different strength and newfound. All mothers out there, what they go through is pretty amazing. But made coming here a little bit harder this time.
Mom and daughter, everybody's fine? Or?
Yeah. So they're all fine. They're at home, and that's why I was able to come down here. But like I said, road trips got a little harder now.
Was that in Toronto or Detroit, or what did you?
No, Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you able to catch any of the last couple games here with this club, and just some of the things that you guys have been working on carrying over from the last month, and kind of what's the focus heading into tomorrow?
Yeah, it's kind of nice having the late games as I was, up with the baby, had something to watch, and it's, like the boys have said, there was some good spurts in both of those games, and it's just kind of like a little stretch we went through where we had good 40 minutes, but we need that full 60, and that's kind of the emphasis today and going into the last two games on this road trip.
What was your travel plan to get here? Like, were you able to fly direct, or did you have to?
No, I flew 6 a.m. to Toronto this morning, and then from Toronto to Calgary.
That's a nasty one.
Yeah. Coming back west like that's a little tricky. And you guys in the room already trying to give you follow-up advice?
Yeah. I mean, as we got close, a lot of the guys. Everyone's excited. Whenever a teammate like Kat as well. So, something like that brings the team together, and it's a lot of fun.
Thank the sleep, man.
Yeah.
The sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you got to be feeling excited. I mean, playing tomorrow, I would think. Are you? I mean.
No, I was trying to think of a witty remark and I couldn't. So.
Good time.
Too many pucks ahead. So. I'm looking forward. It's fun, man. Obviously, you train and you practice and want not to play games, and so excited to get back in there and try and help the boys out, see if we can get back on the right track here.
And how difficult has it been to sit as much as you have lately?
Not ideal. It's not the situation you want to find yourself in, but you try and stay positive, and you try and be diligent with the time you have on the ice and off the ice, and making sure that you're doing what you need to do to continue to get better, but also be prepared in case when your number gets called. And so I feel like I've done a good job of that, and so now just comes down to the fun part, going out there and playing.
You just practice time, I guess, at this point would be very. I mean, that's how you stay sharp, right? I mean, you just use the practice time to. That's kind of was your playing time, I guess, right? I mean, more or less. Or?
Yeah. I mean, you just have to be smart with the reps that you do get, and want to make sure that you're diligent, and at the same time try to take advantage of different situations or circumstances on during practice to try and stay sharp. I mean, practice isn't games, but it's the closest thing we got, so you try and make the most of it.
Not even as a goalie, but just as a player and as this group, is the mental part of the game sometimes almost as or maybe more difficult than the physical?
Yeah, I mean, I always say goaltending is 110% mental, and the rest is physical. So, I mean, and I think that's where preparing and doing the things, continually every day keeps you in a good mental state too, and just staying positive and just trusting your game, and so that when you do get called, you're ready. You don't feel unprepared or anything like that, and so. But yeah, the mental part's probably the biggest part.
We've asked you guys to, you, Lyles, and who's throughout the season, just being a trio together. What's that been like now that, beyond the halfway point of the season going into spring here?
Yeah, it's been good as far as relationship-wise. But Hoos and Al are both great guys, and we understand the scenario we're in. So it takes some finagling sometimes and some understanding as far as practice time and stuff like that. But it could get a little messy probably if we weren't decent human beings. And so, but for the most, like I said, those are both great guys, and I think we've done a good job of managing the situation.
And then last one, Fabbri, being a new dad in the locker room here. Any dad advice for him or to him?
Sleep when you're on the road. Bank those hours when you're on the road. So, no, not really. I mean, it's you're excited for him. And obviously, there's nothing much more exciting than the birth of your first kid. And so, happy that that he got to experience that and be there for it. I mean, sometimes in the profession we play, you can't be there for that. And so, it's a blessing that he got to be there for it. And from what I hear, it was pretty special. So happy for him, and we're happy to have him back with us now too.
Do you remember a larger gap between games that you played or whatnot? I mean, in your career?
Oh yeah, there's been times where I've been hurt and stuff like that, and so there has been some time when there was significant time in between. So it's not something that is that I'm unfamiliar with.
Right.
Newsy, you said you were looking forward to seeing how they responded in practice today. How did they look out there after last night?
Good. I think it was a needed practice, kind of that in-between from light to really heavy. We did have some substance to it, which I think was vitally important. You're going to see practice time is going to be scarce as we get down the stretch here. So I thought it was productive today, and we expect that to translate into tomorrow.
What do you want to see tomorrow?
I think a little more complete game.
Okay.
Again, watching that one back, it's frustrating. I'm not an end be all in underlying numbers. I think a lot goes into it. But those are two games that we could have easily, I wouldn't say should have, but our underlying numbers were pretty darn good in both games. So I think a little more complete, be a little more connected. Every single one of their goals started on our sticks. And then we got to be a little harder around the net. I know Demko was amazing last night, but I still think we could have done more with his time and his space. And it's not going to get any easier with Markstrom tomorrow. So it'll be a good challenge for us.
How about the 5-on-5? I think you kind of brought that up last night too. I mean, just how do you generate more?
I think those hard areas. I mean, they didn't generate much last night, but they had a couple goals from distance with guys in the paint taking our goalies' eyes and space away. And I know in our meeting today, it was a pretty good example of kind of what they did last night and what we didn't. So I think just be a little harder into those areas.
You're going to go net tomorrow?
Reimer will go in net tomorrow. Alex has played 18 of our last 19. Obviously, Billy went down with injury. The one game Alex didn't play, Reimer gave us an unbelievable performance, a win in Toronto, and we expect him to be good for us tomorrow.
Obviously, like you said right there, I mean, he hasn't played a ton, but because you've mentioned it before, he's fulfilled every role there is.
Yes.
So you should be able to handle it.
100%. I think the experience there, and the fact that I think we've had a lot of practice time of late. So he has had some reps, he has had some looks, and I'm sure excited to play.
A little bit of adversity on this road trip so far, but this team has battled adversity all season. What's allowed them to kind of bounce back and respond in tough times?
I think it comes from the room. I think some of that veteran leadership. We've got veterans through the entire lineup in the room. They've been through every situation, and they've all been through a 2-game losing streak. So it's not so much losing streak, it's how you get out of them, and we have an opportunity tomorrow.
You kind of mentioned the practice time. I mean, are you going to be kind of judicious here these last, whatever it is, 6 weeks or whatever?
Judicious.
It's a fancy word.
Spell that for me. I like it.
Don't ask me to spell
yeah.
it, dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Of course, yeah. And like today was a perfect example. We needed some hard reps. I know the guys didn't look overly excited when we were drawing them up on the boards, but they repped them correctly, and I think they've understood if we're going to get better, we're going to stay in this fight, you're going to need some of that, and we got some of that today.
Looking ahead to Calgary, too, they're battling for their playoff lives. How have they done in your eyes, and what are you expecting out of them?
Their team game, their depth, they compete at a high level, and obviously their goaltender's as good as anyone in the league right now. So, they had that run out east. We play those teams all the time, and they rolled right through them. So, again, it doesn't get any easier. We knew this was going to be a hard road trip. Next challenge is tomorrow.
You mentioned Reimer going in. Any other lineup changes for you tomorrow?
Fabbri will be back in. I'm not sure who yet, but we'll 100% get him back in. Coming off being at home with his wife for a couple days with a newborn.
Any dad advice to Fabbri?
Nope, we had a good laugh today, though. He's obviously pretty excited. It's basically, I told him going in, there's nothing better. I have 3. That's his first. So pretty exciting time for him.
The schedule maker really didn't do any favors going from mountain to Pacific Coast.
Yeah, it's
back.
not that bad. It looks east-west, west-east where it could have been, but it's not. These hour and a half, hour and 15-minute flights aren't bad at all. It's kind of like being in the Northeast there. So, nope, not bad at all.